Dragon Ball fans love talking about power, but almost nobody talks about the insane intelligence feats hiding all over the franchise. And I'm not talking about Bulma building time machines or Dr. Gero making murder cyborgs. I mean, the stuff people overlook is more like Goku reading fighting styles like a computer, Piccolo predicting strategies 3 steps ahead, Vegeta reverse engineering techniques mid-battle, and even villains like Frieza pulling off genius level manipulations. These moments are everywhere, subtle, quick, and massively underrated. So today we're breaking down the most extremely underrated intelligence feats in Dragon Ball and the ones that completely change how you see the characters once you actually pay attention. Now of course there's no way to encompass every single feat in this video, and if you find one I didn't include, you can mention it in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. There's an often overlooked moment in the Android/Cell saga that quietly marks one of the most revolutionary decisions in Dragon Ball history, a moment that permanently reshaped the future of Saiyan transformations, and it's when Goku deliberately chooses not to pursue Super Saiyan Grade 2 and 3, the bulky higher powered up forms embraced by Vegeta and Trunks, and instead walk a calmer, smarter path by deciding to master Super Saiyan itself. At a time when the Z Fighters are desperately searching for power after Trunks' warning about the androids, those higher grades initially seem like the answer. Grade 2 offers raw speed and strength, while Grade 3 delivers overwhelming power, but both forms hide critical flaws: severe ki inefficiency, massive stamina drain, loss of speed, and emotional instability, making them incomplete evolutions that push Saiyans to his physical limits while ignoring the logical ones. Goku realizes what the others don't. Power that sacrifices control, stamina, and efficiency isn't true power at all. It's more like a trap. This insight leads him down a completely different path where he enters the hyperbolic time chamber with Gohan, where he stops thinking like a fighter obsessed with brute force and starts thinking like a martial artist. Rather than chasing the next flashy transformation, they train to make Super Saiyan feel natural, eating, sleeping, recovering, and living in the form until it becomes effortless, no longer a rage-fueled boost but rather a true baseline. By eliminating Super Saiyan's emotional instability, Goku removes the need for unstable high grades altogether, choosing efficiency over excess, a strategy breakthrough that would shape Saiyan evolution all the way into Dragon Ball Super, where the form mastered Super Saiyan is still being used to this day. In this particular scenario during the Dragon Ball Super manga, what sets it apart from the anime is this crucial detail. Vegeta had spent years quietly mastering something behind the scenes, something most Saiyans including Goku never fully developed. Not raw output and not brute force, but precise key control. The exact calculated manipulation of God Ki on a microscopic level. Super Saiyan Blue is overwhelmingly powerful, but it comes with a fatal flaw. It leaks energy, wastes stamina, and rapidly drains the user the longer it's maintained. Vegeta understood this better than anyone. He trained specifically for it, studied its limitations, and refined its approach until he could control what others simply endured. That's when Vegeta did something like no other Saiyan has done and treated Super Saiyan God as the base form and Super Saiyan Blue as the Super Saiyan form. He did this specifically in his fight with Goku Black during the manga. This is where his genius truly comes into play. Super Saiyan God is faster, lighter, calmer, and vastly more energy efficient, like a perfected to an engine operating at peak efficiency. Super Saiyan Blue, by contrast, is a massive power spike, incredible force output, and extremely expensive to maintain. Vegeta realized that switching between the two forms could merge their strengths while eliminating their weaknesses. He fought primarily in Super Saiyan God, allowing him to move faster, conserve energy, gather ki more efficiently, and observe Goku Black's movements with divine clarity. Then in the exact instant he went on the offensive, he transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, delivering its full destructive power without wasting stamina, preventing energy leakage, and maximizing the impact of every single blow. By doing this, Vegeta compressed all of Blue's explosive strength into perfectly timed, isolated bursts. It was precision warfare, a scalpel fused with a sledgehammer, efficiency paired with brutality. And because this approach was the complete opposite of Goku Black's reckless fighting style, it worked out perfectly. What makes this even more impressive is that Vegeta actually watched Goku do somewhat of the same thing in his tournament against Hit. However, and Goku also knows this as well, Vegeta mastered it to a level that Goku didn't. Being able to go in and out of it seamlessly is something that Goku limiter isn't physical, it's psychological. Unlike Goku or Vegeta, Gohan doesn't enjoy fighting. He subconsciously restrains himself because he doesn't want to hurt people. And even though it took a while for Goku to come to that specific conclusion, he knew that Gohan had hidden potential far beyond anything else. He also understood Cell's personality and that he needs dominance. Not only that, but he toys with his opponents and pushes them emotionally, quite literally trolling them. And that means that Cell will inevitably do the thing that Goku needs him to, force Gohan past his breaking point. Of course, if Cell chose to use his full power and destroy everyone right then and there would have been no way to stop him. But Goku also banked not only on Gohan, but on Cell's personality to bring Gohan's hidden potential out. And that's exactly what happens. Piccolo doubts him, Vegeta thinks he's insane, Krillin is horrified, and even Gohan himself doesn't understand what Goku sees. But Goku does, because he's already run the outcome in his head. When Gohan finally snaps and becomes a Super Saiyan 2, the fight doesn't just turn, it ends instantly. Cell goes from untouchable in seconds to helpless. No back and forth and no adjustment period, just overwhelming dominance. And that instant reversal is the payoff to Goku's analysis. During Goku's fight with Frieza on Namek, everyone remembers the Destructo Disc, the Kienzan, almost killing Frieza. What almost nobody talks about though is how the hit actually happened. Frieza didn't get caught off guard because he was slow, he didn't get caught because he was careless, he got caught because Goku actually outplayed him psychologically and tactically. At that point of the fight, Frieza already understands what the Kienzan is, he's seen it cut through things effortlessly, which is why he formed his own version of it later on. He knows it's dangerous, and more importantly, he knows Goku is trying to set something up. So Frieza is watching Goku closely. He's actively tracking the disc, and he's expecting some kind of trick. So that's what makes what Goku does next so impressive. Instead of attacking Frieza directly, Goku fires a ki blast into the ground beneath Frieza's feet, kicking up a massive cloud of dust and debris. On the surface, it looks like a pointless attack or a desperation distraction, but it's anything but random. Goku isn't trying to hide the Kienzan himself, he's trying to overload Frieza's perception. The dust cloud isn't meant to blind Frieza completely, it's meant to force him to divide his attention. Frieza now has to track Goku, the dust, and the Destructo Disc all at the same time. And that's pretty much the trap. Frieza reacts exactly how Goku predicted. Instead of backing away or gaining altitude, he focuses on what he thinks is the biggest immediate threat, which is Goku himself. He assumes the disc is being used offensively from the front. What Frieza doesn't realize is that the Kienzan isn't coming at him, it's coming back around. Goku times the dust explosion perfectly so that the moment Frieza reorientates himself, the disc is already behind him. The dust doesn't hide the disc, it hides the timing. The instant Frieza realizes what's happening, it's pretty much too late. He ends up slicing himself in half. What makes this such an insane intelligence feat is that Goku pulled this off even though Frieza knew that the move existed and knew Goku was basically planning to do that very exact thing. He exploited Frieza's arrogance, his tunnel vision, and his assumption that the raw power would always save him. He turned Frieza's own awareness against him by creating just enough chaos to disrupt the perfect tracking. By letting it follow him and studying the way that Frieza used the move, he was able to use it against him. Beerus bringing out Goku's power is one of the most overlooked intelligence feats in the entire Dragon Ball franchise, largely because it's easy to mistake it for simple dominance when it's actually something far more advanced. Throughout Battle of Gods, Beerus isn't trying to end the fight quickly. Instead, he carefully regulates his own strength, adjusting his output in real time to stay just ahead of Goku. Every increase in pressure is pretty deliberate. Beerus understands how Saiyans evolve through combat, and he exploits that knowledge with surgical precision. By pushing Goku to the brink without completely overwhelming him, Beerus forces Goku to adapt, sharpen his instincts, and ultimately awaken the Super Saiyan God. This isn't just brute force, it's mastery over both combat and psychology. What makes this especially impressive is that Beerus is essentially teaching through combat. He recognizes Goku's ceiling before Goku himself does and structures the battle in a way that allows that ceiling to be shattered multiple times over. Beerus isn't reacting to Goku's growth, he's actually orchestrating it. He knows exactly how much pressure to apply and when to apply it, ensuring Goku survives long enough to evolve while never becoming comfortable. That level of control reflects a depth of martial understanding that goes far beyond strength, speed, or any destructive power. And this concept isn't unique to just Beerus either. We've seen it before from the most elite fighters in Dragon Ball. Vegeta employs the same principle during his fight with Super Buu. Rather than ending the battle immediately, Vegeta intentionally pushes Buu to grow stronger. On that surface, it looks like arrogance or reckless risk-taking, but it's entirely calculated. Vegeta understands Buu's nature, and by building him up so that he can break him down, he will speed up the outcome, forcing Buu to absorb him and allowing Vegeta to rescue others from within. Vegeta isn't just fighting, he's manipulating the entire scenario by controlling Buu's emotional and power escalation. Vegeta also applies the same mindset during his encounter with Cabba in the Universe 6 tournament. Instead of simply overpowering Cabba, Vegeta deliberately pressures and humiliates him, backing him into an emotional corner. Vegeta recognizes Cabba's immense latent potential, but also understands that it lacks a trigger. By threatening Cabba's home universe and forcing him into an emotional state, Vegeta draws out Cabba's Super Saiyan transformation almost on command. This isn't cruelty for its own sake. It's calculated provocation designed to unlock another warrior's power. Goku himself demonstrates this advanced martial philosophy at the very end of Dragon Ball Z with Oob. Rather than defeating him outright, Goku immediately senses Oob's dormant strength. He holds back, encourages him, and structures the fight specifically to draw out the power onto the surface. Goku isn't there to win the tournament match, he's there to awaken Oob's potential and guide him towards becoming the next great warrior. Once again, combat becomes a teaching tool. Drawing out an opponent's hidden power is one of the highest level skills in martial arts. It requires total control over the battle, precise restraint, and deep psychological awareness, as well as an understanding of growth under pressure. You must know your opponent's limits better than they do, while also knowing your own well enough to avoid crossing into genuine danger. In Dragon Ball, only the most elite fighters demonstrate this ability consistently, and it's what makes moments like Beerus vs. Goku so significant. They aren't just displays of strength, they're showcases of true martial arts mastery. When Dragon Ball Super first introduced Hit, the legendary assassin of Universe 6, it brought something genuinely fresh into the franchise. Time manipulation as a combat technique. Not energy blasts or transformations, but time itself. Watching Hit freeze his opponents for a mere tenth of a second, an eternity in high-speed combat, felt like witnessing a form of power even Dragon Ball's most seasoned warriors had never encountered. And no, I'm not counting Gildo's attack because it was worthless. What makes this moment truly special isn't just Hit's ability, it's Goku's response to it. For once, the series reminds us of something fans often overlook. Goku is actually brilliant, not in an academic sense, but in the area where his intelligence has always been unmatched. Combat psychology and battle IQ. And his fight against Hit stands as one of the clearest demonstrations of that hidden genius. Hit's time skip is simple in concept but devastating in execution. He jumps forward roughly 0.1 seconds into the future while freezing his opponents within that window. The implications are pretty terrifying. Hit always moves first and his opponents can't react because the attack has already happened. And for that brief instant, Hit exists ahead of everyone else in time. Against anyone without god tier reflexes, it's an instant defeat. Even for Goku, raw speed and strength mean nothing in the open exchanges. You can't hit someone who technically isn't there yet. This is exactly why Vegeta, even in Super Saiyan Blue, was diminished so quickly. He couldn't perceive the technique, let alone adapt to it. Once Hit activated time skip, the fight was effectively over. What makes Goku's approach fascinating, however, is he doesn't solve the problem by powering up, yelling louder, or unlocking a new transformation. He solves it by thinking, by paying attention in ways most fighters don't. Goku calmly begins studying his movements, refusing to panic or brute force his way through an ability that clearly ignores conventional rules. He starts noticing patterns, subtle micro movement Hit makes before disappearing, and the precise angle at which he reappears relative to Goku's stance. And the fact that Hit's strikes follow assassin logic rather than chaotic brute force. Goku can't see the time skip himself, but he can see everything surrounding it, and he begins piercing the techniques together like a puzzle. This kind of martial intelligence has always existed in Dragon Ball, even if it's rarely highlighted. It's the same instinct that allowed Goku to copy Roshi's techniques as a child, outthink Piccolo as a teen, and survive Frieza's deadliest attacks despite being outmatched in experience. Against Hit, that instinct evolves into something extraordinary. The breakthrough comes when Goku realizes something pretty counterintuitive. If Hit is moving through a locked pocket of time, then Hit himself becomes predictable, possibly within that window. A fixed technique creature creates a fixed future, and that predictability is Hit's weakness. You can't change the future if you're bound to follow the same path every time. From there, Goku begins predicting and attacking where he thinks Hit will be, not where he is. He throws strikes into the future, anticipating his position after the time skip rather than reacting to his present location. This is the origin of the famous idea that Goku anticipated Hit inside stop time. It feels supernatural, but it's grounded in precise, high-level combat analysis. In essence, Goku decides that if he can't stop the time skip, he'll meet Hit inside, and the moment he finally lands a clean blow while Hit is mid-skip becomes one of the most satisfying displays of strategic thinking in the entire franchise. It proves that Goku isn't just fast, strong, or lucky, he's a combat servant capable of dissecting an ability that breaks the fundamental rules of fighting itself.